Hello people, Sakey here, Wake Up New Zealand. Today I'd like to talk about a very serious situation as to the non-legal identity of the unborn child in its fetal state. There's a gross denial in New Zealand of any rights, legal rights, moral rights for the unborn child. The judicial system and politicians call this unborn child just fetal matter, not a human being. So there's no law in New Zealand that it protects an unborn child from assault or murder. Legally, if a pregnant woman is killed by an act of criminality, the offender is tried by the judicial system. The mother is seen as the sole victim of the crime. The unborn baby in its fetal state is deprived of any moral, legal standing. If the unborn is then born alive after the accident, then of course the criminal offence has been committed and is acknowledged as the baby being born, and criminal charges will be laid. So the unborn child is not seen as a living person in New Zealand law. Women in their late stages of pregnancy, although the unborn at its fetal stage of life is fully formed, almost ready to enter the birth canal, most pregnancies last about 40 weeks. A baby born before the 37th week is premature and preterm. Babies at 5 go on to develop normally. It is possible for babies born at 21 to 24 weeks to survive. So if you think about that, and a baby is murdered, seriously harmed within a mother's womb, that a baby can be born at that stage of life, then surely it's deemed to be a human life, a human being, an unborn child. So you're looking at two lives in the balance here. Surely if a pregnant mother is a victim of a crime, two lives are in the balance, each deserving protection, each deserving justice. The perpetrator should be held responsible and accountable for both acts through the criminal justice system. It's about time the New Zealand government recognises that an unborn baby is a human being. What do these New Zealand governments get off on? Just how callous, heartless can they be to deprive an unborn child co-equal human rights as any other human being? Where is humanity? The importance of including the legal protection of the unborn, there is definitely an emphasis on the lack of humanity in this country. Politicians in the District of Wellington put forward bills on legalised abortion, taking away life, stuff out life on request, euthanasia, assisted suicide, nothing about the health and the well-being, the protecting of the unborn child. There is no compassion and there is no caring. Politicians need to find some compassion and caring. If they have none, then goodbye and good riddance. Obviously, in the District of Wellington, a heap of them need to be saying goodbye. Do these politicians even know the meaning of life and mankind? I have to question this. If we sanction contraception, why not abortion? And if abortion, why not infanticide? And if infanticide, why not the murder of adults? And that's how it is, isn't it? What is once voluntary becomes permanent. Bills get amended over time, sometimes often. Many times often. So we're demolishing boundaries that we do not step forward in compassion, in a caring way. How can there possibly be any boundaries concerning human beings, that which constitutes humanity. So demolishing human boundaries amounts to us risking atrocities to be committed against any human life and life itself. So excluding legal status to the unborn open those who are already born in danger. The unborn have the capacity to become people and should be protected as people in the name of human dignity. Fetal life, if we take away the widely used term fetus and replace this with the term unborn, making the unborn known as morally and legally as a human being, we will be protecting the unborn baby. But because of legalised abortion laws, etc., being forced upon nations by the UN, they're not about to do that. It brings complications. Politically, finally, humanity plays a central part in as far as the superpowers are concerned. So the UN putting pressure on lots of countries, and our politicians in the cesspit of Wellington obeying and doing just as the UN want them to do. They're not even forced into it. So, stuff out live on request. The United Nations and its puppets purposely and most deliberately ignore the plight of the unborn child, and this they define as an inhuman fetal matter. We do not want irrational, non-debatable political accommodation policies set out by politicians when it comes to the approach of the legal status of the unborn child. So we need to define life stages. The life stages are the unborn, the childhood, youth, adults, middle-aged, elderly. They all have legal rights, protection by law. All these stages are humans, one human race worthy of human dignity. Then why is it that we can't give the unborn child human dignity? The use of the word unborn includes all the different stages of development prior to birth. Unborn should be defined as the whole period of pregnancy. Therefore, a child born, unborn, are considered to be children. So if you criminally kill an unborn, you kill a child. If you harm an unborn, you harm a child. There is definitely a purposeful, deliberate trade-off in words to accommodate pro-abortionists, and of course the United Nations for depopulation purposes. Of course, human identity must be devoid when it comes to legalised abortion, otherwise aborting an unborn would amount to pure murder. Domestic violence. A pregnant woman, unborn child, dies because of a criminal offence. The woman suffers injuries. A drug driver crosses the medium strip, causing the pregnant woman driving a vehicle on the other side of the road to die, and her unborn baby dies. That is 2 offences. New Zealand Justice System calls it 1 offence, because the unborn child is just mere fetal matter. For those mothers who were pregnant and they are in car crashes and they lose their babies, to survive a car crash and the injuries inflicted is one thing. To also have your unborn child die or severely damaged is another. It is known if a pregnant woman's unborn baby dies in a car crash, she has terrible, devastating ordeal ahead of her. She will. She will be mentally, emotionally, physically, mentally, medically affected for a very long time. Mothers are having to, after the traumatic incident, of a car crash, mothers have their babies ripped from their bodies by their medical profession. So the woman goes through more than a double whammy. It is excruciating pain, emotionally, physically. The trauma is so bad. I have never been through it myself, but I have heard of a woman who has. And she lives and relives that every day. So the trauma is huge, and the emotions are of excruciating pain. I do not underestimate how the woman's life, her health is affected. She's likely to live and relive this traumatic incident for many years to come. It makes it so much worse for the woman when the judicial system holds no one accountable for destroying her child's life and affecting her own so badly. This will cause much anguish and stress. Her precious baby is defined by law as a worthless fetal matter. This is cruel, it's callous, and it's heartless, and it's without compassion. This is a disaster, and it needs to change. The New Zealand Judicial System convicts the perpetrators of these criminal offences of one crime only, which relates to the pregnant mother. The unborn child is defined by law as being inhuman, just a matter of nothingness, just a fetal matter. So there is no offence against the perpetrator for killing the unborn child. The unborn child is deemed worthless, no legal status, not protected. Today, I submitted a petition on the New Zealand Parliamentary website as to giving the unborn child moral and legal status when it comes to acts of criminality. The unborn has no legal rights of protection within the criminal justice system of New Zealand. I find this absolutely appalling, bloody cold. The unborn has no legal rights of protection, and the judicial system refuses to recognise that. The unborn human being is just seen merely as a piece of fetal matter, even though it has a maturing brain, a heart, limbs, and much more. Something seriously needs to change in New Zealand. A law needs to come into force to protect the unborn child. The fetus needs to be that as a term that needs to be abolished. We need to start calling it the unborn child. Thank you, people.